Welcome to week 13, Baker's Dozen edition of On Top the Cage. As always, my co-host Dan, I am Ken. How was your Thanksgiving, Dan?
It's good. Got to eat some great food. Went over to my mom and dad's house. My mom's a great cook, and as usual, everything was awesome. Took my containers over, so I had a bunch of leftovers. It was great.
Well, your wife and your family left for a couple days to go south to avoid some of the cold weather, so you had a couple of days of vacation on your own?
Absolutely, yeah. It was me and Gideon at home Friday, Saturday, and Sunday pretty much by ourselves.
For those who don't know, who are almost all of you, I would assume, Gideon is Dan's enormous golden doodle?
Golden doodle, yep.
Yeah. What does he weigh?
85 pounds.
So you and Gideon, very good. Our Thanksgiving was great too. It was a little bit different this year. Obviously, it was a little more quiet and things like that. So, but I'm thankful. Speaking on the topic, we had more views this past week in what I refer to as a Thanksgiving Deluxe Edition than we've had in quite a few weeks. So thank you for watching. I guess we are fully on to Christmas now. Speaking of that, we had our first snow accumulation of the year.
Yeah, it hit us pretty good. Actually, we could have been worse.
Yeah.
Up north, it was much worse than it was here.
Yeah, and that's not always true. Sometimes the South gets more snow than the North. But in any event, we had a very easy last year, and
Yeah.
we're due. I guess it would probably be, the true story about it. So, speaking of that, what else going on in sports? I know you're deep into the MLS tournament and excited about
the
that.
Crew moving on. I got home field advantage again, playing the New England Revolution coming up Sunday. The Western side, we still have another game to see who gets to the conference finals between Sporting Kansas City and...
Is it Seattle?
No, Seattle won last night. Sporting Kansas City. Man, I'm drawing a blank.
Well, let me ask you this. I know we talked about this tournament before and it being a one-game knockout round. When they make it to the finals, is it a best of three or is it still just
No, I think
one
it's
game?
one game.
Yeah.
That's it. One game this year.
Have you started any of your Christmas shopping yet?
No. I don't. My wife, thank God, has done all the Christmas shopping up to this point. So I haven't done anything, but she's done it all.
I bought a couple of things so far. Not a lot. I feel like I'm behind. We got St. Nicholas Day for those who celebrate that coming up. I want to say Friday or Saturday. I want to say it's December 6th. So it's Wednesday. That's our normal
What is that?
shoot day.
You put your wooden shoes out?
I don't know all the tradition, but here it's stockings, and the stockings get filled with candy, chapstick, which is needed this year, maybe gloves, hat, things like that. That's what happens here. But I think lore-wise, it was like shoes, and there was something in the shoes. I don't know. I think it's an Irish thing. I'm not positive about that. I didn't do research. I wasn't expecting multiple questions on St. Nicholas Day. I wasn't expecting to speak about
it's
St.
Irish.
It's not Irish? I don't know. Look it up, fans. So we just got off watching the Steelers hosting the Ravens, just finishing up
A week later.
last week. Yeah. Craziness. The Steelers did find a way to win. They won by 5 points. It's funny here. I have DirecTV, obviously, for the NFL Sunday Ticket, and our local NBC feed, WKYC, they're in a pissing match with DirecTV in regards to money and things like that. They took down the channel last night during The Voice, which is probably NBC's most popular show, which did not make my wife any happy at all. And I was watching on my phone out here, or Dan and I were watching on my phone out here, as opposed to the television behind us. But anyway, that game just concluded. The Steelers did win by 5. We're going to talk about last week before we do the beer review, because otherwise it'll spoil things for me. Last week, Dan, great, 9-7 record. As for myself, 3-13. I apologize for that.
Does that count the Steelers game?
It counts the Steelers game. I lost every game on Sunday, which is almost impossible to do. It put me in a bad mood. I'm looking at the board, and then to top things off, my Chicago Bears played Sunday Night Football. That didn't go so well either. It didn't go so well for me. There was a lot of yelling at the television. There was not a lot of talking between my wife and I since then, although she's coming around a little bit now, which is a good thing. So
See, you can't invest all your time in watching the game. Because, like, even with me with the Browns, when the Browns game came on, I was outside washing windows.
yeah,
Because if they suck it up, I can at least say I accomplished something instead of wasting my time watching them lose. So you need to take up that hobby. Do something, and then get into the game.
maybe that's a good idea. Like literally, like Sunday, like 0-12, I think, or 0-11. My buddy Ronnie from my hometown said, "Hey, you get every game right, I'm going to send you a bottle of Blanton's, which is this high-end whiskey and things like that." I don't know what you get for going 0 for on Sunday. Maybe Mad Dog 2020. Don't send that to me, Ronnie. I don't want that. I certainly don't want that. Anyway, cumulative records. Dan's now +2. I am all of a sudden -8 on the year, far away from my +30 that I was hoping for.
You jinxed yourself.
In any event, the national experts a lot of them are under 500 too. I mean, that was a really tough week. But in any event, that's enough of that and putting the lipstick on the pig for myself and explaining things away. We are on to our beer review.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Oh, stuck to the table there for a second. This comes from the Taft's Brewing Company out of Cincinnati, Ohio. It is called Taft's, I'm assuming, because the 27th president of our United States, William Howard Taft, is from Cincinnati. And at first, when I started looking at the can presentation, I'm like, that Santa Claus doesn't have a beard. And then I realized it's William Howard Taft holding up a beer in I guess that's a sleigh. It looks more like a bathtub. But in any event, I'm a fan of the presentation. The beer is called Santa's Bribe. This is not your traditional Christmas ale. It is called Christmas Cookie Ale, brewed with cinnamon, ginger, and vanilla. This should be interesting. I don't taste the cookie. I don't taste the vanilla. Yeah. It tastes like a Christmas ale to me.
It tastes like a Christmas ale, like Great Lakes Christmas Ale, just a different version of it.
It's darker or heavier to me, though, I feel like.
No.
Not to you?
No.
I don't know if I mentioned the alcohol content, 6.2%. It's certainly in the middle of our rankings, most likely. Probably not at the bottom, but certainly not at the top.
It's not bad. It's okay.
Right.
I like it.
We're it's not gonna shake Slay All Day or the Candy Cane.
The Candy Cane Milk
Stout from Marche. So
yeah.
At best, it may be contending for bronze, and I'm not sure it's there. All right. Football this week. Obviously, COVID wreaking havoc on the National Football League. A wild schedule. We do not have a Thursday night football game tomorrow. We have the Sunday slate, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock games. We have 2 Monday night games and then a Tuesday game because obviously that we spoke about it already. The Ravens and Steelers just concluded their game a few minutes ago before we went on set. The first game up that we're going to talk about, the Sunday 1 o'clock games, Dan's Cleveland Browns, their 8-3 record. They go down to Tennessee, not as far as Jacksonville last week, but they get a little bit better weather probably in Tennessee. Tennessee also sporting the same 8-3 record. The Browns, they're off a win in Jacksonville. It came down to the end, though.
Yeah, it's a win. It should have never came down to that. Not thrilled with the offense. I thought we should have rolled. Our defense, though, our defense is battered. I mean, last week we're COVID, down some starters. We get Miles back this week, but our defensive backfield, we're missing 3 starters. I mean, we're a mess back there, and
it's that time of year, though. Everybody's got injuries now. I mean, you never make it through, 2/3 or 3/4 of the football season without being nicked up, and everybody is. And largely, it's the teams that stay healthy that end up, making their way through the playoffs and continuing. We mentioned San Francisco, but anyway, that's a whole different game or scenario. But they play the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are coming off a huge win in Indianapolis.
Huge win.
They look like
Henry's a freaking freight train. So I mean, that you stop him, make him throw the ball. We'll see what happens. But that's going to be tough for this Brown defense stopping Derrick Henry.
Tennessee looked like a completely different team. In Indianapolis, the game in Tennessee a few weeks earlier on that Thursday night. Indianapolis certainly looked like the superior team. It wasn't that way. It was back and forth at the beginning against Indianapolis, and then Tennessee just took over the game. This game could end in like 2 hours or something. If you're a fan
of the ball.
Yeah. The Tennessee Titans have the best rushing offense in the National Football League. The Browns and their 2-headed monster with Chubb and Hunt, they're the 3rd-ranked rushing offense. So if you're a fan of the forward pass, this probably is not your game. The line on this game is the Tennessee Titans -5.5. The over/under on this game is 54. Damn, what do you think?
I'm picking the Titans on that 5.5.
You're going against your team.
Yeah, I'm going against the team. They might win, but I don't think they cover the 5.5.
Yeah, I have a hard time not picking the Titans as well. The offense did come around a little bit for the Browns last week. They had a couple of touchdowns. But by the way, congratulations to your football team. This is the first time they're guaranteed a 500 record. Yes,
yeah.
Since I want to say it was 2007. The last time they made a postseason appearance. Do you know the year?
Well, you just said 2007.
That was last time they had a winning record.
Oh.
Last postseason appearance, I looked it up, was 2002.
And we were at the Steelers. I was at that game.
At the helm was Romeo Cornell. At quarterback was Derek Anderson.
Wasn't it Butch Davis? It was Butch Davis, not Romeo.
I believe it's Cornell. We'll have to look it up.
It's Butch Davis.
So that's what I saw.
And then Coach Fangio got fired after that game, which he shouldn't have.
To give you an idea, the last time the Browns were in the postseason, LeBron James had not been drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers yet.
I believe
Just to give you some time reference. He was drafted like 6 months after that postseason appearance. So, in any event, Dan and I are both on the Titans in that game. Next game up on the slate, the 6-5 Las Vegas Raiders. They go across the country to play the winless New York Jets, who are 0-11. The Raiders are 7.5-point favorites in this game. The over/under is 47. I have no idea what happened to the Las Vegas Raiders last week.
They crapped the bed in Atlanta. I don't know either. That was, Atlanta won the game, but good grief. I don't know. The Raiders, did they even
What
show
was
up?
that? I have no idea. And they're in the middle of this playoff race. Obviously, that was a huge loss for them. Their defense has given up 30-plus points 7 times this year. They're tied with the Jets for that. You never want to be tied for the Jets
Yeah.
for a statistic, for sure. The Jets are coming off a loss to the Fins. I don't think either of those teams played very well last week. Darnold was back last week. It didn't really seem to make a difference.
No.
The ball was getting turned over a lot in that game. I was watching, it off and on, and I'm like, how did they get the ball back? So it was a pretty sloppy game overall. The Raiders are minus 7.5. Last week, I took the Jets in one of my 11 losses on Sunday.
And you said earlier, I'll never take the Jets.
I learned my lesson. I'm not going to do it.
Paper airplanes.
I'm on the Raiders minus 7.5.
I'm taking the Raiders too, because there's no way Gruden's going to put up with the shit performance they had last week. They're going to come out and destroy the Jets or the paper airplanes.
We'll see. That was an absolute debacle. The Jacksonville Jaguars. They are 1-10, just behind the sweepstakes for the first pick overall. They go to play the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 5-6. We already mentioned the Jags-Browns game a little bit earlier. They just fell short. I mean, they had a 2-point conversion to shove that game into overtime late. It didn't happen. Mike Glennon played quarterback. He didn't play that poorly.
He did not. He looked actually pretty good.
Minshew's healthy. Glennon still has the reins of that team that came out today. He is going to be the starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Vikings, they survived Carolina.
Barely.
Yes. I was watching a game, and then I wasn't watching the game, and they were up, the Vikings, were up, and then they were down by a lot. And what happened was they gave up defensive touchdowns to Carolina, to the same kid, a rookie kid, on consecutive plays. That's unbelievable how that happens. They survived. They got a late field goal. The line is the Vikings minus 9.5 against the Jags in this game. Who do you like, Dan?
I almost want to go with the Jags because I think that line's a little big.
I think it is too. I mean, I think I'm going to go that way as well. I don't think the Vikings are a good enough football team to be giving up 9.5 points in this game.
No.
They may run Dalvin Cook down their throat, and it may happen. But hopefully the Jaguars, they have that undrafted rookie running back who's going to set a record for undrafted rookie running backs.
That defense held our guys in check, till the fourth quarter. And we got 2 of them. Minnesota's only got 1.
Right. We both taking the points?
I'm going.
We're both on the Jags, taking the points.
I'm a Miles Jack fan too, so I'm going with the Jags. I wish we could have got him.
Did he make a couple plays against your Browns last week?
There. He's a stud. I like him.
Very good. The Cincinnati Bengals, they are 2-8-1. They go to play the in-laws team, the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 7-4. This is another huge line, and the Dolphins are favored by 11.5. The Bengals are coming off a loss to the Giants. Their offense is really inept without Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's bad. They were in the game, and I think the Giants are the best team in that division. This line's huge, though. I'm not even certain what's going on with Miami because when I looked, Fitzmagic was in there again.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Did Tua play?
No, he was out injured. I'm unsure whether or not it's going to be Fitzpatrick or if it's going to be Tua. I think Tua is probably okay, and I think Brian Flores is probably weighing his options. Situation with Cincinnati, they were in that game because they got a special teams touchdown. They got a kickoff return touchdown. The offense is inept. The Dolphins, their calling card is certainly their defense.
Yeah.
They got a very good defense. 11.5 is a big number. What do you think?
It's huge. I was going to let you go first.
I'll go first. I'm going to lay it. I'm going to lay it with the Dolphins. They have a lot in front of them. I don't think Cincinnati's going to score on that defense. I don't. And here's the thing. I hope they win, and I hope it sets up a winner-take-all situation for the Miami Dolphins when they go to Buffalo the last week of the season. That would be tremendous fun for my in-laws, and I'll be looking forward to watching that. We'll talk about my Bears in a second. I'm probably going to have to live vicariously through Dan's team, through the in-laws team. I don't think my Bears are making the playoffs. I'm laying the entire 11.5 with the Miami Dolphins this week.
That's a huge number. I'm taking the Bengals.
Fair enough. I mean, something stupid could happen, like it happened, well, not stupid, but like a special teams touchdown or the ball bounces the wrong way. It easily could influence that number. I'm not saying that the Finns have to play flawless. I just don't think that the Bengals are going to score more than 10 points or something like this in that game. So I like the Dolphins. All right, next game up on the slate, the Indianapolis Colts. They are 7-4. They are one game behind the Tennessee Titans now after losing to them straight up last week. They go to play the Houston Texans. The Texans have the opposite record at 4-7. The Colts are 3-point favorites in this game. The over/under on this game is 51. We mentioned Indianapolis getting beat pretty good by Tennessee. Like I said, it was back and forth for a bit in the first half, and then Tennessee completely took control of that game. Houston comes off a win on Thanksgiving Day against the Detroit Lions. Cost Matt Patricia his job. Darrell Bevell is now the new interim coach of the Detroit Lions. It was just a breaking point. That was an awful performance by the Lions. In any event, the Colts are -3 in this game. They're one game back. Watson's playing well for the Texans. The Texans lost their best
Two guys and a DB.
They lost Will Fuller.
They must have been snorting the same thing.
I think it was performance-enhancing drugs. I don't
Yeah,
think cocaine is a performance-enhancing drug. But in any event,
now they're two dumbasses that were taking the same thing.
They did. I don't know if they're
read the
doing it
bottle.
together, but that's Will Fuller and Roby is a defensive back that are out for
Notre
Texas.
Dame educated guy. He doesn't know what he can take and what he can't take.
Right. You hear those stories and you don't really buy them. Watson's playing great. He just doesn't have anything around him. I mean, the Colts have to win this game. They have to try to keep pace here in this wild AFC, whether or not it's a South Division win or the wild card race. I'm going to lay the points with the Colts -3.
I'm going with the Colts as well. You took away one of the weapons on offense for Deshaun. That's going to hit him pretty hard in that team. And then defensively, I mean, yeah, Roby, I remember him from Ohio State, but yeah, he's a decent corner. You know, he started in Denver, is at Houston. Could it be a factor? Maybe. But I'm going with the Colts as well on this.
All right. Next game up on the slate, the Detroit Lions go to Soldier Field to visit my Chicago Football Bears. We talked about the Lions a minute ago. They are 4-7. The Bears are 5-6.
Yeah, but wait, go back to that coach. What's his name?
Darrell Bevell.
Yeah.
He was. I remember when he was.
Wisconsin.
I don't know.
At Wisconsin.
You went way back. I know he was in Seattle. I feel like he went from Seattle to Atlanta and maybe to there. I'm not positive of his exact trek.
Okay, well, he must have been really excited because you heard about what he blew at his press conference, right?
What did he blow? I'm a little afraid to ask.
Over Thanksgiving weekend, he's got 2 daughters, and both of their boyfriends asked for his daughter's hand in marriage. And at his press conference, when he got announced, he freaking said that.
Yeah,
so not only did he get named head coach on that weekend, on the same day, his 2 future son-in-laws talked to him about asking the daughters to marry him. And so he spilled the beans to the freaking media.
That's all. He needs a head coaching gig if he's going to pay for 2 weddings now, too.
Well, yeah.
All right. Detroit Lions, like I said.
I'm taking the Bears because of that slip-up. He's got too much shit now because his wife's been bashing him since that press conference.
There's a lot.
Sleeping in the office, I guarantee you.
There's a lot to talk about the Chicago Bears. They started off 5-1. They are currently 5-6. They are riding out a 5-game winless streak. They were absolutely embarrassed on Sunday night against Green Bay. The defense looked completely lost without Akeem Hicks in the middle. They couldn't stop the run, and when you can't stop the run,
Is he back?
I think he's going to be back this week. Eddie Goldman opted out before the season started, and he was their nose, and he was kind of the run clogger. And Hicks is a great player and has done a great job, and the Bears have a good defense, but without Hicks, they don't.
Yeah, he's a disruptor.
Obviously, Mitch Trubisky took over last week. It was erratic. The calls didn't go the Bears' way, and I was fuming mad about a couple of those. It didn't change the outcome of the game, don't get me wrong.
Well, now that we brought up the refs, I thought the officiating blew all weekend long, including this game tonight.
Yeah, there's been some questionable calls, certainly. The call that threw me over the edge was, I think the Bears were losing 20-7. Trubisky was scrambling up the middle. He got face masked twice. That was not called. He ended up fumbling the ball. The Packers returned it for a touchdown, effectively ending the game before the half. I had a few choice words for the television. My wife had a few choice words for me. We are talking again, so everything's okay with that. The Bears are -3 in this game. I can't see them losing to the Lions. Sometimes an interim coach interjects life into a team. I don't think so. I mean, I think the Bears cover this number.
I'm going with the Bears.
All right. The New Orleans Saints, they are 9-2. They go to travel their in-division rival, the Atlanta Falcons. It's not a very far trip. The Falcons are 4-7. The Saints are -3 in this game. The over-under is 46. The Saints played the Broncos last week. Taysom Hill is the quarterback. I don't know when Drew Brees is going to come back. I mean, cracked ribs, multiple fractured ribs, a collapsed lung. He's 41 years old. I mean, I haven't heard anybody talk about Drew Brees coming back. Hopefully,
he's 41.
He's 41. Wow. Hopefully, he comes back before the playoffs start because they're not the same team with Taysom Hill at quarterback.
No.
I mean,
I'm still waiting. I want to see some Jameis.
Maybe it might happen.
Why not put him in for a series or two? What the hell?
I took the points last week when the Saints were out in Denver, and that was before. We'll talk about all the quarterbacks going down. But I took them because I was unimpressed with Taysom Hill as a pocket passer, and he wasn't good as a pocket passer at all in that game. But obviously, and we'll talk about Denver in a minute, they didn't have anything on offense that they could even play with. The Falcons, once again, I mentioned they're 4-7. They come off demolishing the Raiders last week. A defensive performance out of nowhere. I mean, they were all over Carr. I mean, it's like Vegas didn't show up to the game not to discredit the Falcons. I mean, I think they got us to talk about possibly giving Raheem Morris his job. I mean, they've been very good since. I don't know. Maybe they blow up the whole thing. I mean, probably not. I mean, they're going to have a new general manager. Dimitroff got fired earlier in the season when they made the change. So there'll be a new general manager. He'll probably have pick of the litter, or he'll want to be able to pick his own head coach. So that probably is Morris out. The Saints are -3 in this game. You want to take the lead?
No.
You don't? I'm
Saints.
So am I. I'm going to go that way. It's the Saints defense. It's not.
Yeah, it is the defense.
I mean, they are going to
play.
And they're going to be playing on a fast track, obviously inside the Mercedes-Benz Dome. I like the Saints as well, -3. If the number was 3.5, I might consider going the other way. I think I'm going to lay the Saints -3. That's the end of the 1 o'clock slate.
But Matt Ryan, with a good defense, Matt Ryan turns the ball over. Look for a fumble, interception, that kind of thing.
And the Saints do have a good defense.
They do.
I mean, I don't expect the same defensive performance out of Atlanta that we saw last week. I mean, like I said, that was out of nowhere because they've been very leaky on defense, and it wasn't that way. I want to say that final was 43-6 or something like that against the Raiders.
It was an ass kicking.
Unbelievable. It was one of my favorite lines on the board, but I keep talking about how bad it did last week. We're going to stop talking about that. All right, start of the Sunday 4 o'clock games. The New York Giants are 4-7. They are tied for first place in the NFC East. They go out to Seattle. They play the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 8-3. The over-under. The line on this game is the Seahawks -9.5. We talked earlier. The Giants did beat Cincinnati. They lost their quarterback. They lost Daniel Jones. I don't think he's playing this week.
I heard he's out.
It's a hamstring. I mean, I don't think it's a severe hamstring. I think he will be back. And obviously, that division is just a complete toss-up still. You're looking at Colt McCoy playing for the Giants. The Seahawks, they come off a Monday night win against Philadelphia. it was a chippy game at first. I saw a lot of the beginning of the game. The defense played better for Seattle. It looked like they had more of an edge. I don't know. Maybe it was a product of Philadelphia's offensive line, and you talked about how porous they are when they played your team the week before.
Well, and who'd they get? Carlos Dunlap?
They did. And I think he's injected some life.
I think it has changed them a little bit. He's playing more than he played in Cincinnati, and giving him some pressure. Jamal Adams looks really good. I mean, blitzing and stuff. I mean, he's a player.
The Seahawks haven't lost at home yet this year. They're minus 9.5. I'm gonna lay it again. It's the fact that Colt McCoy's starting, and I know that Seattle's defense, like I said, they're coming around. They haven't been great, but I feel like they're going to find a way. And the offense is tremendous, obviously. Metcalf and Lockett and Carson was back last week, their main running back, and Russell Wilson's tremendous. So there's a lot of firepower in that team. I'm going to go ahead and lay the 9.5 with the Seahawks.
I'm going to take the Giants. I think that's a big number.
You like the points?
Yeah, I'll take them.
You said last week you liked the Giants to win that division. You still on that?
I'm still on that. I don't think they win the game, but I'm still on the Giants.
You don't have to win out to win the NFC East. I can tell you that much.
Well, I know, but I don't. 9.5. That's a big number. Colt is a serviceable quarterback. He fits in the system. I'm going with the Giants in this.
Fair enough. Next game up on the slate, the Los Angeles Rams are 7-4. They go play a big division game against the 6-5 Arizona Cardinals. The Rams are 3-point favorites. Both these teams are coming off losses. The Rams lost to the 49ers. Once again, a surprising outcome or result. They turned the ball over 4 times. The Rams did against the 49ers. I mean, the 49ers continue to play under Kyle Shanahan, even though they're decimated with injuries and things like that, and they're most likely out of this thing. But they continue to play hard, and they showed that again last week. The Cardinals, they went in New England. They traveled across the country, and they had ample opportunities to win that game. They won every category, rushing yards, passing yards, defensive statistics, turnover battle, except the final score. They lose the game at the end of the Patriots by a field goal. And the Cardinals are going the wrong way. After their bye, they're 1-3 now, and their win is the Hail Mary game.
Right.
So they're very fortunate not 0-4. They're 6-5. They're very fortunate not 5-6, and in deep trouble here. The Rams are -3 in this game. I picked the last couple of games first. Dan, who do you like in this game?
Rams.
So do I. So do I. The Cardinals are just. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team as well. You're not sure what you're going to get. Kyler Murray hasn't run as much since his shoulder injury in Seattle a few weeks ago. I think that really is a determining factor in how that offense goes. And until I see Kyler Murray run the ball more, I'm going to go with the Rams -3 as well. We spoke about that game against the Patriots. The Patriots are the next team on the board. They are 5-6. They go to play the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers 3-8. This is a pick'em game. The over/under on this game is 47. I refer to this game as the best coach team versus the worst coach team, and because the Chargers are horrible. The clock management in the Charger-Buffalo game last week, might as well talk about it. The Chargers went into Buffalo. I like them getting the points. It didn't happen. They were there at the goal line at the end. The clock management was horrible. I think Anthony Lynn's a poor coach, frankly. Herbert, is doing his thing, and the offense is pretty good. The Patriots run the ball. There's not a whole lot of passing there.
Patriots.
I'm going to go with the Chargers. I am. I mean, the Patriots, I bury them, then I unbury them. They're not going to make the playoffs, but I'm going to go with the Chargers. I don't know. This is really a toss-up game. That's the reason why it's a pick-em line. All right, the Philadelphia Eagles. They are 3-7-1. They go to play the 8-3 Green Bay Packers. We talked about Philadelphia coming off of their loss on Monday Night Football to Seattle. They play with a little bit more edge. Wentz continues to be awful, in my opinion. I continue to I have no idea why Jalen Hurts isn't playing. I don't know. I mean, they continue to lose. Wentz continues to look lost in this offense. Here's what I think happens this week. They're going to go play the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 9.5-point favorites in this game. I think the Packers are going to probably have their way with them. I mean, the Packers are coming off destroying the Bears. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is a great player. We talked about them not running the ball. They were able to run the ball consistently up the middle against the Bears, largely because Akeem Hicks wasn't there. But they're a very good offensive team. Who do you like in this game, Dan?
I'm going to go with the Packers. I mean, that's a huge number. Aaron Rodgers sometimes annoys me. He's protected by the NFL and the referees.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. There's nobody protected in the National Football League more than Aaron Rodgers, maybe outside of Tom Brady. Last week, talking about the Bears and the Packers, the Bears, per the NFL statistics, were not credited with a sack nor a quarterback pressure, but somehow got a roughing the passer penalty. I mean, it was a horrific call in regards to the roughing the passer. There were a lot of calls that went against the Bears in that game. Once again, it didn't affect the outcome. The Packers are 9.5. You going to lay it all?
Yeah, I am. I'm a little worried on the defense on the Packers, but I'm taking them. The Eagles just offensively look lost to me. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I know their offensive line stinks, but there's some weapons there. Simplify stuff. I said before, put Jalen Hurts at tailback and let him run the damn ball.
Let him throw the ball. Maybe Wentz gets pulled to half of this game and Hurts is a little bit of a spark plug. I'm going to take the points with the Eagles. Miles Sanders, I like him running the ball. Sometimes the Packers defense shows up and sometimes it doesn't. So that's a question mark for me. It's nothing against the fact that I hate the Packers, which I clearly do. I'm going to take the points with the Philadelphia Eagles getting 9.5. All right, the Denver Broncos, who are 4-7, they go to play the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 10-1. Chiefs are 13.5-point favorites. The over/under on this game is 51. The Broncos last week did not get the princess treatment that the Baltimore Ravens got this week. Is it because they're a lousy football team? I mean,
that's a good question. I don't know why that was. And what's his name? Who's the coach over there?
Vic Fangio?
Yeah.
For the Broncos?
His comment was like, well, if the quarterbacks didn't wear their
masks
in their room, yeah, hey, we're going to play. These guys are adults. But, hey, it's your freaking team. Why aren't they wearing their mask, D-bag?
I understand
the
that.
Hell, he should have been fired after those comments.
I don't know about that. I understand. I feel like the Ravens got some preferential treatment from the National Football League. I'm sure a lot of your Brown brethren probably feel the same way. In any event, they obviously didn't have any of their quarterbacks. They had to start an undrafted wide receiver out of Wake Forest. He completed 3 passes. Unfortunately, 2 were to the other team, and 1 to his own team for, I want to say, 8 yards to his tight end, Noah Fant.
Stop.
They had no chance in that game. They are going to play the Chiefs. The Chiefs come off beating Tampa Bay. They only ended up winning by 3. The game wasn't that close. We're not going to talk about Cannon Fire this week. Fortunately, the Buccaneers are on bye. Still weak. As well as Carolina.
Lord Fires the Cannon doesn't watch our podcast.
We're not talking about the Cannon. They're not on the board this week. The Chiefs are minus 13.5. How about that first half from Tyreek Hill?
That was sick.
Over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it was insane.
I mean, just the placement of the ball, too. I mean, between Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. That's ridiculous.
It is. I trust the Kansas City Chiefs football team and offense more than probably any other National Football League out there to produce week in, week out. I'm going to lay the entire 13.5 in this game.
I'm going with that one, too. Chiefs.
All right, the Washington football team. This is a very fresh line that we were able to get. They go to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Washington football team is 4-7. Once again, one of those teams tied for the division lead in the NFC East. The Steelers are now 11-0, freshly minted 11-0, coming off a pretty sloppy performance against the Ravens, if you ask me. Dan and I watched a chunk of that game. They couldn't convert in the red zone, and there was a pass play at the end that could have changed a lot of things. They did end up beating the Baltimore Ravens. The Washington football team, they come off a Thanksgiving beatdown of the Dallas Cowboys. Alex Smith looked good. Antonio Gibson, their rookie running back, ran for 3 scores. Dallas continues to be a mess. I think Washington is the clubhouse favorite for the NFC's title.
You think?
I do. I think it's over the Giants, especially with Daniel Jones being down.
If he's down for an extended period, yeah. And Alex Smith starts clicking. Chase Young's back.
Yeah.
I'm 9.5 is a big number for me, and I don't think Ben at his old age likes younger defensive ends. I think Chase Young gets the Roethlisberger here.
I think Mike Tomlin's pissed off about the performance they just came off of a few minutes ago. They haven't played in a hot bit, a week and a half or whatever it is, but I expected them to come out and just completely destroy the Ravens, and it didn't happen. I mean, the Ravens didn't have their starting quarterback. They didn't have their starting running backs, and the Ravens were in the game to the finish. I'm pretty sure Tomlin's not happy with the team's performance. They have to keep up pace because, the Chiefs are right there, and I don't see the Chiefs losing again. I'm going to lay the 9.5 with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow, I think the Redskins, wouldn't that be awesome if they beat the Steelers?
That would be super awesome.
That would be their loss.
By the way, with the scheduling quirks we talked about, that was the first Monday Night Football game. That's the 5 o'clock slot for Monday Night Football. The second game on Monday Night Football, the traditional 8:30 slot, is the Buffalo Bills, 8-3, going to play the San Francisco 49ers, who are 5-6. The Bills are 2.5-point favorites. The 49ers are displaced.
Wait a minute. I'm going with Washington. Did you think that? I was still deciding.
Yeah.
Here.
I thought you did. I thought you declared already.
No, I was still thinking, and now I'm hearing you talking about the Bills and 49ers.
It won't be the first time I cut off, Dan. I thought you were on them.
I am going with Washington.
Oh, I didn't know you were still debating.
They look like shit beating the Ratbirds.
They look like an uninspired football team somehow, some way. But
all right, next game.
All right. Fine. The Buffalo Bills in the 8:30 slot on
Bills.
Monday Night Football. They are 8-3. They go to play the 49ers, who are 5-6. Once again, the Bills are minus 2.5. The over/under on is 48. I spoke about the 49ers. They're out of San Francisco because of COVID situation. They have to play their games in Arizona.
They're probably happy they're out of San Francisco because people shit on the sidewalk.
No, all right. I don't know about that. What is that? We're not going to talk about what that is. No, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going.
Homeless people are allowed to shit wherever they want.
You're not goading me into this.
Come on.
Anyway,
anybody that watches this podcast is going to know that.
The 49ers are playing.
Half the people that watch this know that you got to watch the shit when you're walking in San Francisco.
I've never been to San Francisco. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm gonna leave it at that.
You got to shit on the sidewalk.
The 49ers
Bills
are now playing in Arizona the rest of the games because of the COVID situation in the upper part of California, I guess. The last time the Buffalo Bills went to Arizona, they lost the Hail Mary game. So they got to go back there.
Where are they playing?
They're playing in Arizona, in the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. That's where San Francisco is playing their home games for.
Wait, is that a different stadium than like the Fiesta Bowl?
Nope, same thing. Glendale. No, it's the same place.
Same. Okay.
You got it. Same place, but so they have to go back there where they have some pretty bad memories. The Bills are coming off somewhat of a sloppy performance against the LA Chargers, if you ask me. They did win that game. There was quite a few turnovers in that game. The 49ers are coming off a big win against the LA Rams. Their defense was great in that game. We mentioned earlier that Shanahan hasn't lost that team. But the Bills, I mean, the Dolphins are right on their tails. I think the Bills are a better team. 49ers sometimes have problems with mobile quarterbacks, and I think there's enough mobility there with Josh Allen. I'm going to go ahead and lay the Buffalo Bills minus the 2.5.
Bills for the third time.
You like the Bills? All right, Dan likes the Bills as well. All right, I thought you might have some commentary for me.
What do you mean I had commentary? I talked about shit on the sidewalk.
All right, fair enough. All right, the Tuesday game, the rare Tuesday game. That's right. The Dallas Cowboys, they're 3-8. They go to play the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are now 6-5 after their loss. The Ravens have been installed as 8-point favorites in this game. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty. I'm assuming that Lamar Jackson's back. I'm assuming that their stable running backs are back. The Cowboys were absolutely destroyed. We mentioned it just a few minutes ago against the Washington Redskins, the Washington football team. That's tough not to say still. But the Ravens, they have the Browns left, and they got to fix this. They're 6-5. They got the Browns left next week, and then their schedule is really soft.
Okay, I have a question.
It's the Jags, the Giants, and the Bengals.
Tuesday?
Because Baltimore just got done playing.
So did the Steelers, and they're playing on freaking Monday, and they're the team that got screwed.
Look, it's very difficult.
Screw the Ravens.
All right, it's very difficult. The NFL is trying to do their best. I took issue with them giving, I thought, preferential treatment to the Ravens as opposed.
They're still giving it to them because this game's on freaking Tuesday.
As opposed to the Denver Broncos. But look, they're trying to give us football. So it goes both ways. I mean,
well, because some strength coach didn't wear his monitoring device and a mask, and the whole team got it because of you. Come on, cover your cooties up. Screw them. Why they get Tuesday?
Dan's completely over the COVID situation. Clearly,
hey, follow the freaking rules, asshole. You get paid a lot of money. You're playing a freaking game and coaching a game. That's just being a jackass.
My good friend Johnny, I start laughing now. My good friend Johnny watches the show and things like that. And he goes, "You go in there with a lot of preparation, and I enjoy the show a lot. You got to keep Dan on task sometimes. He kind of goes off the rails."
Yes, well, I'm off the rails because people shit in San Francisco because it's freaking liberal.
That's
and
enough
then
of that.
Freaking the Ratbirds get preferential treatment. Screw that.
We're keeping the
They should put that game back on Sunday.
We're keeping the politics out of this. Who do you like in this game? The Ravens -8 against the Cowboys, so we can move on.
Shit. I'm going with the Cowboys. Fuck the Ravens.
All right. He's taking the Cowboys. I'm not. The Ravens have to win this game. They got, like I said, they got the Browns coming up next, and they got a very soft schedule to end things. They got the Jaguars, the Giants, and the Bengals. Obviously, three winnable games.
They play the Browns after the Tuesday game?
Yeah.
On a Sunday? No,
I
that's
believe
a Monday.
So. Is it a Monday? I don't know. I haven't looked at far enough ahead of the schedule.
NFL.
So that is the entire week, mercifully, the entire week of the National Football League as it's scheduled right now. Our bonus pick comes from the SEC this week. It's Texas A&M. They're -7. They go to Jordan Hare to play the Auburn Tigers.
-7.
A&M. They're ranked 5th in the country. I watched a little bit of the A&M game last week against LSU because it was a night game and it was the best game. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't. Kellen Mond, the quarterback, didn't impress me.
Are you impressed with Auburn?
I'm not. I mean, they got beat down in the Iron Bowl.
That quarterback was pretty good.
I did too. Bo Nix played okay. I mean, they got overwhelmed by Bama in the Iron Bowl last week. A&M is -7. They got to go into Jordan Hare. I like the points in this game because I wasn't impressed by Texas A&M.
I was on Auburn early and haven't been impressed with them.
They were ranked early. Now they're completely out of the rankings.
I'm going with A&M.
In 2 weeks, we get let's talk about college football for a second. In 2 weeks, we get the championship games, and obviously there's a lot of consternation up in our area with the Ohio State Buckeyes on whether or not they're going to be able to even qualify to play in the Big Ten championship game based upon the amount of games played. It looks like their game is going forward against Michigan State this week. There's a lot of questions with the Michigan program, which is in 2 weeks from now, their traditional rival. So we'll see how that shakes out for the local fans. I'm on Auburn getting the points. And you declared who?
Texas A&M.
All right. Very good. We're at odds in that game as well. That's been your full week of the National Football League. That's your bonus pick, a very raucous edition. Yeah, I don't know. I'll play this one back and look. We might have to do some editing. I'm not positive. But thank you for watching for week 13 of On Top the Cage.
See ya.